All right, we're live. I'm sure it's going to take a little bit for people to get in here because we're starting 5 minutes earlier than we kind of originally planned. Um, but hopefully, people are on their lunch break right now, getting ready to be a maniac watching the Rule 5 draft. The Rockies have the first pick that should take place here in the next 10 minutes. Who is your number one guy? I think everybody knows. If they've been following along, they know.
Right.
Got to get that out here one more time.
If you guys tuned into the pod yesterday, I made some comments in the chat about Yohendrick Pinango. He's a outfielder in the Toronto system, and I think he's the most safe pick for any position player we've seen in the last couple of years. What is really intriguing about him to me is he swings the bat super hard. He has really good exit velocities. I think his top exit velocity in AAA last year was 115 miles per hour. And I think that'd be either first or second on the Rockies MLB team in 2025. And like you look at a player like that, you're going to think that he's going to strike out or have a lot of strikeouts, a lot of swing and miss in his game. But that's not the case. He has good contact. He's pretty disciplined at the plate. Like I think it can be a smooth transition. Of course, he hasn't seen MLB pitching yet, but he did well in AAA. He dominated AA. I think it's crazy he didn't get selected or by the Toronto. I'm surprised Toronto didn't add him to their 40-man. I think it's even crazier that he's eligible. I don't know. That's my number one.
Yeah, no, and I think that makes a lot of sense. And you made that initial tweet about him like 2 weeks ago or a little bit less than that. And a lot of people in the scouting space just immediately were also on that train. So I don't know if they saw your tweet or what happened, but and I'm gonna adjust my lighting just for a sec, real quick. But I agree with you that Pinango is probably the number one guy. Just you don't find skill sets like his all that often. Oh, and that's way too bright. I'm in front of a window, and either I get like blinds shadows on me, or I think this might work.
Let's see it.
Nope.
I'm
going with the light, guys. I'm going with the light. That's tough. I'm right in front of a window, so I'm like, oh, that'll be perfect lighting, but too bright. There we go.
Okay, much better.
These are the production mishaps that we had. I mean, Rule 5 starts in like 2 minutes. These are the production mishaps that we're having. Brian in the chat, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by, joining us. This is the one of the more fun days and really all of Major League Baseball, especially when your team is bad and you're picking so highly in the Rule 5. Like, you're getting a guy who's immediately on your roster. So thank you all so far for hopping in here. Should have the feed popping up. If you go on MLB.com, the feed's accessible that way. Should have that pop up here in about a minute, maybe two. And if you missed it off the top, Isaac hyping up his number one guy again, and for good reason. Yohendrick Pinango from the Blue Jays organization. He kind of does it all on the offensive side of the ball, at least. I think there's some questions defensively, and maybe that's one of the reasons that he might not go first overall or top 3 even. It'd be because of the defensive fit that teams have to use him as a DH and poses some questions at least, but that bat is legit. So if you guys missed that, Yohendrick Pinango, even if the Rockies don't take him, you should follow him wherever he does get picked so that we can make Isaac look good.
Right. And do you have a guy or two that you think the Rockies are going to select, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I think I personally think they're going to end up going the pitching route. For obvious reasons, they're going to be somewhat inclined to go that route at least. Obviously, fans are going to be like, we need pitching. But the Rule 5 also just makes a lot of sense to take a pitcher. There's a lot of them left available, a lot of capable ones left available. So I have a few in mind. I think Peyton Pallett, and I know you're relatively high on Pallett as well. I think that's my number one pitcher. Just the pedigree there is pretty uncommon to find in the Rule 5 draft like this. He's a former, I think he was a top 50 pick, but he almost went high first round before having Tommy John surgery back in 2022. So Peyton Pallett is great. Unfortunately, he's a little bit more in a bullpen sort of role right now. But Peyton Pallett's number one. I'd rattle off a couple of names. Zach McCambley, RJ Pettit are also really intriguing. I know you like RJ Pettit too.
Yeah, just mammoth of a person. He's a fun guy for sure. I think I'm gonna throw out two other names. I'm gonna say Evan Reifert with the Rays organization. He had a really great season in AAA. Struck out 40% of the batters he faced. He has a slider that I think would do well in Colorado. It has a lot of negative vertical movement, which is good. It induces ground balls and contact is made, and it showed in AAA that had a lot of whiffs to it. And Gavin Collier, he's a right-handed pitcher, reliever in Texas. He is just nasty. He has really good stuff, but command is probably not. It's not ready for them. It's bad man. But still, he has the stuff to be a great reliever.
And I mean, that's going to be the case with a lot of these guys taken. And the Rockies have a chance. There's a few guys who do have good stuff, and the command is kind of there. But for the most part, a lot of guys taken in the Rule 5 draft, there's going to be that question about their command. There's going to be a question about something. And for a lot of them, it is their command. You're going to see a lot of teams bet on stuff, a high-octane arm, and try to control it a little bit better. So I think that command issue is something that will pop up pretty commonly with guys today. I don't know if you're getting the feed to load quite yet. I thought I had it, but it's 12 o'clock and I'm not seeing it quite yet.
Yeah, mine is not really working on me either. I was hoping that they're going to update the picks on the website.
Yeah, that might end up being the route. I always love hearing draft picks. Like I like seeing them walk up to the podium and announce it that way, but it might not be in the cards to make that happen right now.
In 2023, what were you saying?
Oh no, you go ahead.
In 2023, when the Rockies selected Anthony Molina as their last Rule 5 selection, did you know who he was at the time?
I'm trying to think if he was. I don't think there was much Rule 5 coverage on him before the draft. Like this year, it feels like there's 15, 20 guys who have already become like very popular because of the Rule 5 draft prep. I don't think Molina was quite part of that back in 2023.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I was pretty unaware when they call his name. I was listening.
It seemed like a good pick though. He was young. I think he had gotten a AAA starting pitcher. Like it checked a lot of the boxes, but I don't know that his stuff was quite at the level to make that jump to the big leagues without a little more development. So he kind of got his track a little bit thrown off.
Are you getting anything?
No. So I need to find. I'm just pulling up a tracker. What are you on? Are you just on the MLB website?
Yeah, that's where like the watch live area is, because right below it has all the picks. I don't know. Is there a checker for it though?
I don't know. I don't think there's one on like Twitter or anything like that. Trying to see. Now we're doing even extra pre-production craziness.
Sure, we can just reload Twitter
to get their crap together. Yeah, I'm sure someone has already like leaked. I might be able to get it on I got a notification on my phone just now from the MLB app saying live. Oh, there we go. It's going now. I guess it just is a little bit screwy until the broadcast actually starts. So, okay, now officially, for those who are here, we got a decent number of you guys hanging out right now. The Rule 5 draft is now actually going to start. We've got the broadcast rolling. If you're not watching and you want to watch, MLB.com, click the watch live like headline over on the side, and it'll take you to an active broadcast. So, yeah, now we wait a couple minutes. Let's run through some comments. We got Skylar. You've been in here now for like 10 minutes, but thanks for hopping in. Anthony Appreciate this. Best draft coverage for the Rockies. Yeah, Isaac does a lot, like especially with this. Isaac has been killing it. Appreciate that, Anthony. Stupid Lewis. Got minus 1,000. I'm pronouncing the name wrong. It's how do you say it, Isaac? Johendrick Pinongo?
I think it's Pinongo.
Yeah, that's I think so. I took like 5 years of Spanish. I think I know how to say my names. I'm not sure though. Not 100% sure.
I took 2 years, so I think it's the 7 years to get it right.
I think something that's underrated too is if you played like MLB The Show as a kid, like a lot, you would hear all the names being said by like Matt Vasgersian in there, and that would just give you clues on how to pronounce a lot of names. But they're doing some presentation now on the stage, so I'm gonna shut up for a sec. Yeah, introducing the draft. I don't know how long the Rockies will have on the clock. Like they know who they're picking, so I don't know just how quickly it's gonna pop up here.
Yeah, I think it's a couple minutes per, if I remember. I thought it was gonna start right at 1. I thought that's some
it makes some sense always that's like 1 o'clock. Like be there, like be in the room if you're like wanting to watch or something. All right, so the Rockies are about to make their selection. They're walking up. All right, and have you seen it yet, Isaac? Or
I've not.
As I don't want to. It's fun to not have it spoiled, but they have taken. Do you want me to spoil it for you?
Yeah, spoil it.
They took RJ Pettit. So
they did. Okay.
Yeah, so one of the guys that we've been hyping him up quite a bit. He wasn't necessarily like our number one guy, but I think evaluating players for this draft it's difficult to like rank them because you're not taking the best player available. Like you're taking a good player that you think is a fit for you, and that you don't have like questions about really. That's going to be kind of individual and personal. So RJ Pettit, we all agreed he was like a top 5 guy available in the Rule 5 draft. So RJ Pettit, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. 6'8", 300 pounds. He does everything right, essentially. Like he has solid enough command. He struck out a solid enough players, and it projects pretty well. I think he's a really safe option. I think he paired with Peyton Pallet and Zach McCambley. I think those 3 were the safest 3 that you can go with.
Yeah.
And yeah. RJ Pettit, I think his arsenal is pretty solid. Yeah. He throws his slider 42% of the time, and batters are whiffing over 40% of the time against it. And usually, like sliders and Coors Field, it's a solid match, and it's a unique look as well with how big he is with his release point. It's a lot going on at once. And I don't think we've seen a guy this big since Brooks Pounders.
One of the best names in Rockies history, Brooks Pounders.
Or DJ Johnson was a pretty big guy too. But I don't know. I like the pick. I was really hoping for Pinongo, but
I haven't heard or listened closely enough since the Pettit pick. I don't think Pinongo's gotten picked quite yet. There's been a few names popping off that we were keeping an eye on. So Pinongo is still out there. A team might get a steal with him, depending on how quickly he gets taken here.
Right, I'm not getting anything. The website's being slow for me. Do you know who the other picks have been?
I'll see. I know like Baumler got picked. I think Carter Baumler, Daniel Susac.
Okay.
I'll have to. Those were some guys that I liked. I'll have to see if I can find a list though. I'm sending out a tweet right now on BSB, and can kind of just read this off as I'm doing it to give people a little bit more information. Even RJ Pettit last year, 2.44 ERA between AA and AAA last year in 66 innings. He had 79 strikeouts to just 22 walks. That's a successful season. He was like an 8th inning guy for the most part with both of those Detroit affiliates. So I think that's kind of the role he might be able to fill long term. Like right away, he's not gonna get that look, but he's a guy who could get some 7th, 8th inning looks at some point in his career.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Yeah, solid pitcher all around. I wrote an article for Prospect Savant, and they use a stat called PS score, which is just a way to rank the value of a player. And for every pitcher eligible that pitched above AAA or in AAA, he was the 4th most valuable according to PS score. So we got ourselves a good pitcher for sure. Great analysis, Isaac.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I like that though. I like the PS score. I was surprised to see Brian Castillo of the Rockies was so high, but
right. He has a really weird slider that don't do anything. Like they both got about 0 inches of like horizontal movement and vertical movement. Just batters weren't able to do anything against it. And it was a pretty big velocity difference, which like I don't think it's going to translate to Major League Baseball though, but I don't know. I'd be interested to see if he does get selected.
Yeah, no, we're getting close to the end of round 1 already, actually, and haven't heard any Rockies names. So yeah, we've got some of the notable names that went. Griff McGarry to the Nationals with the 3rd pick. He's a guy with a ton of stuff, but the command has been really spotty. Daniel Susac to the Twins, Carter Baumler to the Pirates. Those were notable guys. Matt Pusher to the Cardinals, and a lot of passes so far. I was expecting the first like 8 to 10 picks potentially to all be selections, but the Angels passed at 6, and we've only had 2 selections since then. So a little slower today than I was expecting.
Yeah. Last year there were only 3 players selected in the Rule 5 draft that actually stuck with the team that selected them. So it's pretty common for players not to sign and for teams to pass up on players too.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes sense. I think this year it stood out to me as a year where there felt like there were a lot of MLB ready relievers available. And it kind of feels like teams can always use a relief guy, or at least just to take a chance on one. So that's a big reason I'm surprised to see fewer selections so far. But we did get Peyton Pallett selected at 21 by the Guardians. So
21.
He's off the board for the Rockies. But hey, Yohendrick Pinango and Zach McCambley, 2 popular targets, are on the board right now. The Rockies are coming up again. We don't know if they're going to pick or not. Oh, Zach McCambley just got taken. I think the Blue Jays. Oh, first round is over. So Yohendrick Pinango is sitting there, Isaac.
I'm not going to get my hopes up, but that would be
all right.
I think that'd be a
good addition. The Rockies passed, so that concludes the Rockies portion of the Rule 5 draft, at least the MLB Rule 5 draft, I should say. We're going to have we're not going to be here, but there's 4 rounds actually, or I guess as many rounds as teams want to take. They can take AAA players who were unprotected from a undisclosed AAA roster. I don't know. That part is kind of mystifying about the Rule 5 draft. Teams also get to protect minor leaguers that have almost become Rule 5 eligible. So that's going to happen. The Rockies are going to add at least one guy, probably 2 or 3, to their minor league system as part of the Rule 5 draft, but they'll be on the minor league teams. But that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Again, we're not going to be here though. That's too much on like demon hours to stick around for.
If Lewis is still in the chat, that is something Lewis would do easily, hands down.
What was it? Wait, what was that?
Lewis is a grinder when it comes to wasting time, so he would be all about.
Yeah, he better have those. He already put out an RJ Pettit graphic, so
dude,
we need those minor league graphics to pop out. But wait, okay, so yeah, the MLB phase of this is already over. Like basically everyone passed in round 2, I think. That's not a shocker, but usually there's like 1 or 2 teams in round 2 doubling up. This year, I don't think anyone did. I didn't quite hear that quickly enough, and Baseball America hasn't updated the tracker since the end of round 1. But yeah, that was the fastest MLB portion of the Rule 5 draft I've ever seen.
Right. Listen for it, but I think it's an hour wait between the MLB portion and the minor league portion.
That would kind of make sense. Like give teams a second to strategize, but
right.
We'll give it a couple of minutes and see if anything's rolling. I don't think we'll be here longer than like 12:30, 2:30 Eastern. But we'll see if there's a start on that. But yeah, RJ Pettit, I'm excited about that. That's the Rockies adding another bullpen guy to this system. You've got Brennan Bernardino was added early in the offseason. Now you get RJ Pettit. It gives you more depth in that pen. You already have more depth than you did last year. All you removed last year from the pen was Jake Bird and Tyler Kinley. Kinley was not pitching very well. You had 2 guys who I think Pettit can be a similar force to a Jake Bird type of pitcher. So Rockies bullpen is basically exactly where it stood last year. And that's before you try to work with any of these guys internally to make them better.
Yeah, and it'll be really interesting to see how like the new pitching staff goes about RJ Pettit. One of my favorite things to do is when the Rockies get a new player is compare their stats with another organization to what it's like when they join the Rockies. Yeah. Like a example would be Cal Quantrill. Like once he joined the Rockies, his 4-seam usage went up by like 15%. And I don't think that was probably a good change that the Rockies made, but it was an extreme change, and I am curious to see if that's going to be different with RJ Pettit, if they're going to keep him throwing a slider as much as he did in 2025 or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that slider just in part because of his frame, but also he throws it pretty hard, if I'm not mistaken. It's like up to 88, 89. I think that seems like a pitch you really want to work with. And actually, no, that's his changeup that's up to 89. I think the slider does get up to the upper 80s though too. So I think you kind of work with that as much as you can. The fastball though is going to do work too.
Yeah. Something that is encouraging to me too is like the batted ball results against him were terrible. Like players could not hit off of him at all. And like with that, like command isn't as crucial because if guys aren't hitting the ball great while it's in the zone, then it's not going to be as precise. While it's going to be different in the MLB, I don't think it's going to be as crucial as somebody like Anthony Molina 2 years ago or other young players like that are coming up through the Rockies system. I think RJ Pettit has a little bit of leniency when it does come to how he locates the ball.
Yeah, I mean, when you're RJ Pettit, you're 6'8", you throw gas, you don't have to be precise. But it sounds like he is decent command given the quality of stuff. Like that's a combo that we were talking about before the draft started, that a lot of the guys taken today, there's going to be kind of a flag of his command's a little bit questionable. We'll see what happens. Pettit is not one of those guys. Like he's not a dart thrower, like bullseyeing every pitch, but he's someone who has the command to get by as well.
For sure.
But, I mean, it's more about that. Yeah, the stuff like you were saying.
White Sox doubled up.
Oh, they did. They did double up. Okay.
But yeah, now we can get the final.
Yeah, that was it. They took two. They took a guy named like Jettison Paez from Boston, and then Alexander Alberta from the Rays. I hadn't really come across either of them in prepping for today. That's got to be one of the fewest number of players taken in the MLB portion of the Rule 5, though. That's like 10. What is that? 5, 6, 7,
13,
8, 9, 13. So yeah, I feel like normally it's like upwards of 20, like maybe a little bit less than that, but feels like we're a couple players short. So what seemed like a really strong class of pitching, teams were a little bit like, we're good with what we've got. We don't need to take these chances, hog a 40-man spot, for the rest of the offseason that we're not entirely sold on. So But
Yeah,
it
I
does
think
look
the
like
Blue Jays
the minor league portion will be at some point later. Maybe at 12:30 it starts, but I'm not sure about that.
Right. I think the Blue Jays lucked out with nobody selecting Pinango.
Oh, I think they definitely did. And yeah, Lewis says that you need to stay on for the MILB portion. How about Lewis? How about you come out from behind the curtain and you get on here?
Run the Road to Blake Street crew.
You talk about RJ Pettit for a half hour.
Yeah, I thought a lot more action was going to go on. I thought a lot more of my guys were going to be selected.
I am shocked about Pinango not getting taken. But there was Daniel Susak got taken. That's the only position player that got taken. So I have a feeling. And Aaron said that he thinks the minor league portion might be starting in a sec.
Okay. How good is Susak's defense? Because I do not like his hitting profile.
I think he's an okay. I think he's probably ready for the big leagues as a defender. I don't think he profiles to be above average though. Like if he's an average defender, you might be able to get a backup catcher out of that. I liked him. Thought he'd be worth taking a shot on, but at the same time, not too excited about like a risky backup catcher profile. Like if it's a guy with a really good glove and you're hoping the bat develops, that's different. But with Susak, it's like you're hoping the glove takes a step forward and you're hoping the bat takes multiple steps forward. So, I mean, I didn't think the Rockies would consider a catcher. There were a few guys that teams or that people had highlighted besides Susak, but I figured might as well not mess with the catcher position. They do have they're going to need a third catcher at some point. That's in the mix. So maybe not on the active roster on the 40-man roster right now, but they're going to need another catcher at some point.
Have you heard of Ronaker Palma?
He's not in the organization anymore, is he?
No, he's a free agent.
He could have been the guy.
Hope, right?
What's crazy is that with everything kind of turning over, like new page, like it used to be you could rely on guys like that getting re-signed because there's so much familiarity. We still have a lot of the Chris Forbes is still here. There's a bunch of guys that are still there with last year's front office, but it's a little bit less of a guarantee that some guys who were with us last year are going to get re-signed. It might be like guys who DePodesta and Josh Burns are familiar with are going to get signed here versus some of those Rockies guys that we'd be loyal to, that are familiar with how things get done. So Palma might not get brought back. I'm sorry, Isaac.
Right. And I think like the other three, like to a testament, it's like Carl Kaufman, Connor Van Scoy, and Andrew Quezada. Like I don't think that they would have elected free agency. I think that the Rockies would have signed them right away to give them that AAA starting depth that they would have had in years prior. So I think that alone is a big difference, more so than Palma. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but it is crazy that those guys all would have been brought back, or at least some of them. But right now,
AAA phase just started.
Oh, it did. Okay, we got to lock in
their pick.
Hang on, let me get in the broadcast. Don't spoil it.
I won't spoil it.
They are. I'm shook. I am shook. TJ shook from the Mets. We have a new assistant general manager as of today, officially from the Mets. I got to see if he drafted. Well, he would have drafted TJ Shook because I guess he was the draft director. Oh, no, he did not draft him. He was undrafted, signed by the Brewers, joined the Mets organization in 2024. He was pretty nasty last year. 2.41 ERA, 61 strikeouts in 56 innings, got up AAA. So TJ Shook, that might be someone to keep an eye on. He's going to be in AAA right now, but these are guys that could definitely push for the big league bullpen, at least in some capacity. The guys getting taken, we've always kind of been waiting for that, like one of these minor league Rule 5 guys to get on the big league roster. I don't know the last time it would have happened for the Rockies.
Ooh, I don't know if I can think of one, but I know Isaac Collins. He was with the Rockies system. He was selected in my portion, and he was one of the better rookies in baseball in 2025.
Yeah, what a dog, Isaac Collins. I remember, I think he was taken either in the middle of the first round or like middle of the second round. I know it wasn't early in the minor league phase though.
Right. And like looking back at it now, it's crazy that the Rockies didn't select him.
Yeah, I mean,
Orioles.
It's weird how this phase works. I wish it was more transparent, that we knew like who the player pool is. I really wouldn't want to get bogged down in it, because a lot of these guys end up being just in and out of the organization in 1 year, but it'd be nice to know who's actually protected from this phase.
Yeah, I agree. Last year, the Rockies picked up Jose Torres from the Reds, who was like a top 3. I think he was a third rounder in 2021 or something. Yeah. And he made it up to AAA. He saw some good results. He had like a 2 stretch where he had like 3 home runs in AAA. Yeah. But there's Gabriel Barbosa. He was selected by the Yankees in the Rule 5 in 23 or 24, and then the next year he was selected by the Phillies in the Rule 5, and he had a really good year for the Phillies. Got up to AA, had some solid numbers. Looks like a kind of legit prospect for him.
Yeah, so I mean, some of these guys do turn out legit. And I guess on that note, like the Rockies, we have not had anyone. There were a couple guys in the major league portion that was like holding your breath a little bit, like Brian Castillo, solid. Eugenio Herrera is a top 30 prospect. There was a chance for one of those guys to get taken. Austin Smith, too, who was acquired for Tyler Kinley. No one in the minor league phase, though, and I'm probably about to jinx that like I did Zach McCambley in the MLB portion of the Rule 5. Usually, though, we're going to probably lose 2 guys. That would be my guess between round 1, and I think we're probably going to get into round 3 with this. I bet we lose 1 or 2 guys, and we're going to have a moment for them on Twitter.
Yeah. Last year, the Rockies lost 3 players, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because this is like a very low risk phase, so teams are just kind of going to take anyone with an intriguing skill.
Yeah, teams have to pay. If you select somebody from another organization, you have to pay that organization $25,000 as opposed to the $100,000.
Yeah, and on that point, Wild the Innocent in the chat asked, like, we're paying $100K for Pettit. Yeah, that's a flat fee, the $100,000. There's no incentive higher or lower in the draft. You just pay a flat fee per player. It's part of the reason that a lot of teams don't take 2 guys. It's like you might as well not shell out money for someone that probably doesn't make your roster. So, and then Clan Brandalorian. I love the tag. Ready for the team to take off. Glad you found us on Twitter as well. Glad you're here. Do we think we're gonna make a splash move for a big name? I mean, does Willie Castro count?
I mean, he's been good the last 3 years against what you were arguing yesterday.
He's not a bad player. I don't. In terms of what you're asking, Brandalorian, I don't think we're gonna get like a splash. There's a chance. There's like a small chance of Luis Ariz and Ryan O'Hearn. Those are probably the top first basemen on the market outside of now, especially now. Pete Alonso's gone. So that first base market's going to get moving. Ryan O'Hearn was an all-star last year, had a really good season. Luis Ariz, everybody knows. Those are probably the most splashy guys in our kind of view that we have a chance for. But I'm also a little hesitant that we're going to get to sign those guys. They're probably going to have a market with contenders pursuing them. So this is probably going to be a slower offseason. That's why this day is so big for us, because it's an opportunity for the Rockies to make a transaction that we know they're going to make a transaction. And we did get our first Rockies minor leaguer take it.
Yeah,
We'll take a guess, or did you already see it?
I saw it.
Yeah, he's a friend of the pod. That is a friend of the pod. Yeah, Luke Taggart. I'm not gonna find the link, but he's a cool dude. He's been through a lot in his pro career so far. I think he has the ability to potentially get to the big leagues at some point. But that's a friend of the pod who is no longer with the Rockies.
And I think that's actually pretty cool. Luke Taggart has struggled with injuries the last 2 or 3 seasons. He struggled to see action on the field. So the fact that a team goes out of their way, pays the Rockies $25,000 to have him on their team because they think he's good enough, I think that's awesome that he is getting that kind of opportunity.
Yeah, for the most part, guys that are taken here, at the least, they're going to be in AA. I don't. Did Luke Taggart make it to AA last year? I don't think he did.
No, I think he split time between single or low A and high A.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So guys here are all going to go to AA, probably AAA though. Like in the case of the Rockies, they took TJ Shook. He's probably in AAA. He's going to be like 5th or 6th in line to get on the big league roster if there's injuries, underperformance, and as the season wears on, that might come to fruition. A little more just Rockies chat in the chat. Brandalorian hoping we don't settle for Goldschmidt. We do love. He is a very likable guy, and that you have to kind of take that out of your mind when you're thinking about Goldie, because I wouldn't mind him on the team, but part of that is driven by like he's a really nice guy, super well respected, future Hall of Famer. That is super cool. But is he the right fit for the Rockies? I don't know. And while the innocent Rhys Hoskins stock has risen with the Pete news, yeah, he's someone that teams are now like, all right, well, Rhys Hoskins is out there. That might be our favorite guy based on the value that you might be able to get there. Could be a fit for the Rockies as well. And Brandalorian also agreeing that Rhys would be kind of interesting. I don't know who would you, Isaac, if you could only pick one. Let's exclude O'Hearn and Arise. If you could pick one first baseman outside of that, who would you be taking?
That's tough. If it's between Paul Goldschmidt and Rhys Hoskins, I think Rhys Hoskins would probably be cheaper, and I think he'd probably be better for the Rockies. If he's anything close to CJ Cron, for example, we got him for really cheap. I think that'd be a good addition, and I think he'd be a good fit for Colorado.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think it'd be fun to have Goldie like this. These are his last maybe 2 years. I don't know that he's going to get 2 more years in the big leagues. He was pretty good last year, but definitely a huge drop off from what he was 2 years ago even. So, guys like him, they're going to have to start making some decisions about the future. We could possibly get the last year of Paul Goldschmidt. That's kind of cool.
That would be sick. And it'd be like a FU to the Diamondbacks. But we love the Diamondbacks, so I don't know why I said that.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind just any divisional team. I wouldn't mind holding their legend over their head. Like, haha, you don't get the last year of Goldie. And it looks like round 2 is about to start. We'll hear this second pick of the AAA phase, and then I think we'll hop off and sign off from there. But I'm sure no one that's still hanging out here is new. But yeah, I mean, that RJ Pettit pick, I'm still pretty happy about that. I think he was the highest floor pitcher on the table. I don't think he comes with a massive amount of upside. I think he's kind of like what he is. And you hope that you can strategize his arsenal properly to succeed at the big leagues. But I think he has the highest floor of all of the guys that we could have taken, and certainly the ones that were taken right around that same range. I don't think anyone else taken in the Rule 5 so far has a floor quite like RJ Pettit.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point as well. The Rockies passed the second round.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Usually a lot of teams will go 2, 3 picks deep with this. So
the Rockies pitcher for the Rockies did get selected. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's an all-timer, frankly, in my book, because he used to have like 70 grade speed and could touch like 97, 98 on the mound. Brady Hill. taken from San Jose State. He's an athlete. Like he probably could have played another sport, but at least now he's getting a chance to go to Double A with the Nationals, maybe Triple A.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the Rockies were really slow with progressing him through the minors. I think he spent 3 seasons in single A. I don't even know if he's touched high A.
I don't think he's reached. I think he got there this past year, but he definitely didn't get to Double A. Which he was drafted in. I think he was in 2022. So that was half a year in 22, 23, 24, 25, like 3.5 years, and he didn't get to Double A. I think he deserved a shot at that, and the Nationals are gonna give him that. But do you have anything else for the good of the cause here before we sign off?
No, I don't think so. He did not make it up to AAA at all, and that sucks because he was born in Spokane, so that would have been like a really cool connection.
Then that's the Rockies have had a few guys like that. They're from Spokane, like, or at least from that region, just the Washington, Idaho region, and cool to get to play there. I guess one thing, and this isn't the space to talk about it. I have to consume this a little bit. Like a MLB Trade Rumors article dropped saying that the Mets, Padres, Phillies, and Yankees are some of the prime teams that have expressed interest in Brenton Doyle. We will look into that more. I'm very intrigued by that headline, though. It doesn't sound like the Rockies are just going to trade him, but with those teams kind of in pursuit, like especially the Mets after missing out on Pete Alonso, they have some pressure to make some moves. So that's kind of where we leave this, is a segue to another pod that is not being recorded today, but will be recorded at some point. What's going to happen with Brenton Doyle? That is an interesting headline, to say the least. Now, a final opportunity. Anything else for the good of the cause, Isaac?
I think I'm all out of things for the good of the cause.
Anything for the bad of the cause? No.
No, Yohendrick Pinango.
Yeah,
I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight.
Everybody thought the same thing, so I'm shocked. But yeah, thanks everybody who's still here for hanging out. Anyone who did stop by, thanks for hanging out. RJ Pettit is a Rocky, and I'm not going to do the Aaron sign off, but like fully. But go Rockies and RJ Pettit. Woo!